Hello everyone. We're going to be going over how to use mat 2, which is the observation mat. This is as much of it as I can get in the screen, but it's 8 boxes. It's 4 on each row. Now, this mat is very different than mat 1. This one you use with the 8-sided die. Now, I also use it with a 6-sided die because I use 3 different decks with it when I'm doing certain readings. So it'd be helpful to have an 8 and a 6-sided die to go with this mat. You don't need the 6, you really just need the 8. But if you're going to be using multiple decks, I feel like the 6 is good to have, just as like so you can know which one you're rolling for which topic. That'll make more sense in a minute. Okay, so this is the observation mat. The different boxes are basically different like computer breakdowns, different ways of like looking at a download. If you go on my stand.store/thereckoning.co, you'll see the mat series and it's free. And if you go down here to the side to mat guidebooks, the observation mat, that's what we're going to be looking at today. At the top here is a link. And it just tells you a little bit about the mat. So it's a navigational tool for understanding how thought, emotion, and energy move through awareness. I designed this so you could break down any download and have the understanding that you need to have of it. Because when you're using this with the 8-sided die, you're getting a different line every time. And you can also, I did it 8 boxes of 8 so that you could also use the 8-sided die to say, okay, where do I even start, right? So I got 8, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to start at the reboot. And then you can go in order, or you can say, okay, I'm here. How many from there? And then you throw the dice on the floor. You say, okay, I'm here. How many from there? 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2. So there's multiple ways that you can use the setup, and it's meant to be used off of your intuition because your intuition is going to tell you what you need to understand about that download. And this is just the map that helps you break it down. I designed this mat specifically for my brain. This is how my brain likes to break things down, and I figured out a way to show that to you here. So that's how this mat particularly came to be. Okay, so each section represents a different part of your energetic and mental process, guiding you from input to insight. Think of it as any kind of download you get, whether it's true crime, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for a client, whether it's for the collective, whether it's for a specific topic, right? You should be able to take something that you get as a download and say, okay, I want to understand this. I want to expand on this, whatever your intention is. And then this helps you do it. So you set the intention, and then this will tell you what lines you need to be at. And you don't have to use the die. You can use your intuition. Or you can sit down and write down, okay, 3, 4, 2, 1, and then not look at the mat, and then look at the mat and see what those lines are, because you're not going to memorize them. You know what I mean? So there's multiple ways that this can be used, and the only rule is use your intuition, because that's the key that's going to unlock the understanding. Because you're saying, I intuitively want to understand this. Your intuition is the key to this mat. There's no right way or wrong way to use this. If you're doing it some way and it's working for you, then that's the right way to use it. Okay, so we're going to start with input stream. This is where everything begins. Again, you don't have to begin here. It's just where this line of understanding begins at, okay? It represents what you take in from your surroundings through senses, thoughts, and emotions. Use this space to notice what's entering your awareness, what stands out or repeats, what themes or energies keep appearing. This is where you practice simple, present observation before interpretation begins. So here we have core signal, background noise, data filter, source code, viral belief, external command, hidden program, and frequency match. All of these I'm going to have in here as codes, but what does it mean to you is what's most important. So before you use the mat, you sit down and look, okay, this is going to mean this, this is going to mean that. Or as you're going, okay, you'll see when I use the mat, sometimes I'll roll and I'll say number 4, okay, overload point. And before I pull a card, I'll say, what am I looking for? What does overload point mean to me right now in the context of what I already have out in the reading? And what is this card that's going to come out represent? You do that before the card comes out. So that way when the card comes out, it's like, oh, I asked for this and I received this. So this is this. This is what my spirit, my soul, this is what my guides want me to understand about that particular puzzle piece. Okay, so that's what's here. Now, we're in box 1. I'm going to take the 8-sided die and roll it. I got a number 7. So you can let as many cards fall out as you want. You can, I'm telling you, there's unlimited ways to use it, right? So let's just do it this way for now, where I roll the die and I pull the card. Page of Pentacles in reverse. So the hidden program, Page of Pentacles in reverse. I would say the hidden program is lack of fully understanding something in the context of a major lesson. So you learned a major lesson, but there's some kind of understanding that when you shift perspective and get to the right understanding, it allows this to flip upright. A restoration of hope. So now the processing core. This section shows how you process information internally. It's where thoughts, stories, and emotional reactions form. Use this space to reflect on how you translate what you notice. What assumptions shape your understanding? What memories or expectations color what you see? This is where perception meets interpretation. Here we have thought loop, emotional driver, bias script, subconscious file, firewall rule, memory imprint, repeating algorithm, and reboot command. So just for example, repeating algorithm, you could be doing a reading and say, okay, what does my brain keep repeating as an algorithm? What is my brain repeating that it's ushering in more proof of that? Or what am I taking in externally from an external algorithmic source? So as you go, you're defining, okay, I got this code. This is going to mean this. Then I pull the card and you're getting a totally different spread every single time you use it. That's the wrong die. 7. Oh, repeating algorithm. Perfect. Okay, so we have repeating algorithm. Now, let's say I'm doing it this way, right? Let's say in the beginning, I shuffled this whole thing and I'm leaving it off to the side. So I haven't touched it, right? So I roll, I get repeating algorithm, and I just take this card in this is a different method than the first round. I take this card and then, ooh, that's my repeating algorithm. Justice, scales being rebalanced. So I keep telling myself that the scales are going to be rebalanced, hope is going to be restored, and I'm going to see that in my reality. Now, for example, in this way, now we're going to go over to system error. System error, remove this. This area reveals distortion or confusion in perception. It represents blind spots, bias, or my whole screen went black. Blind spots, bias, or emotional charge that disrupt clarity. Use this section to pause and identify repeating loops. Ask yourself what you might be projecting or misreading. System error helps you see where healing or recalibration is needed. Here we have false logic, corruption code, energy leak, overload point, stuck loop, shadow process, misdirected output, and unhandled emotion. So let's say I'm doing it the same way that I just did this one, where I'm just pooling it. In this instance, I pre-shuffled this. I put the intention that I'm just going to use this for the whole thing. So now I got number 7 again. So misdirected output. Now in this example, I'm going to take the next card up. Misdirected output is Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So the misdirected output is pouring energy or effort into things that are not going to help restore the balance and restore hope. So being very cautious about where you're pouring your focus and your energy and your intention. So that's one way to do it, where you just pre-shuffle and then as you go, you just pool. Now it's going to give you a unique reading still, because you don't know what number is going to come out each time whatever card comes out. So you can do that, or you can continuously shuffle as you go, is what I'm trying to get at here. Now we have the debug console. This is where conscious awareness steps in to make adjustments. Use it to bring clarity and perspective to what you have observed. Ask what truth restores balance, what shift brings neutrality. This space supports realignment, turning reflection into growth. Here we have mirror feedback, pattern reveal, truth log, system check, reality glitch, hidden function, script trace, and code correction. So, and I'm going to roll the die. We got number 6. So the hidden function. What's the hidden function here? So what is all of this serving you in terms of evolvement? How is this serving you in terms of evolvement? 9 of Swords. Fear and anxiety about things not working out, taking chances on yourself, showing yourself that you can see things through. Even when there's things that go wrong, you can find a way to rebalance and restore. Upgrade sequence. This section represents growth and evolution. It's where understanding becomes wisdom and clarity becomes change. Use it to reflect on what you've learned from the process. What will you carry forward? What no longer belongs? This is where the system integrates new awareness into embodiment. So let's see here. We have new awareness, file rewrite, energy reset, program update, patch integration, permission granted, calibration needed, and frequency rise. And we're coming out as frequency rise, number 8. So what needs to happen to raise up the frequency enough to get from this 9 of Swords into this fully restored balance and not miss out on any opportunities? Make sure we're focusing in the right direction, pouring effort into things that count. And that is all going to restore hope and give some kind of new beginning where you can use whatever wisdom you accumulated from the lessons of this. So frequency rise. Page of Swords in reverse. Interesting. So the lesson learned and the logic behind it. So what gets you from the 9 of Swords into justice embodied is when you have some kind of problem that you solve using the wisdom from this particular lesson. So it feels like a reestablishment of boundaries, a refocus, a readjustment on energy, output, focus, something along those lines. When you action that, when you say, okay, I'm taking my focus away from here because it's not helping me and I'm putting it here where it's going to help me. When you do something in that way, you go from 9 of Swords to justice. And that unlocks some kind of new opportunity that allows you to use the wisdom that you accumulated on that path. Output field. The output field represents expression. It shows how your energy moves outward through action, creativity, or communication. Use it to notice what you're projecting into the world. What energy do your wounds carry? What results keep showing up? This section helps you see how inner alignment shapes outer outcomes. We have 1 or 7. We have number 1, projected signal. Projected signal. 6 of Swords. So your energy right now is reading as expansion. Because it's matching your internal. Your external is showing expansion. It's showing a ripple effect because in a positive way, because internally you've done the same. So you're already projecting out a ripple effect of, I learned the lesson and now I'm embodying it by showing myself I can create this new opportunity. By shifting my focus to restore hope. And as hope is restored, I'm given an opportunity to show myself that I learned from that last chapter. And when I use that wisdom, it unlocks a door. Network interface. This area explores how your inner world interacts with the outer one. It shows energetic feedback loop between you and your environment. Use this section to notice how your communication, emotions, and focus influence what happens around you. Awareness here strengthens conscious connection with others and with life itself. Connection node, shared frequency, collective loop, interface field, energy exchange, parallel reality, mirror match, and system sync. Connection node. So what is all of this connected to for you? Putting down the burden. The burden of knowing once you use the wisdom that you accumulated from a lesson, your brain has new evidence and proof. Oh, there was a reason for that. You can know, okay, I know there's a reason for everything. I know everything happens for a reason. But when you literally see the reason, oh, I used that wisdom. I can see why that happened because now it prevented me from going down this wrong path, or it helped me get to this goal. So when you use the wisdom, it gives your evidence new proof that that wasn't for nothing. It's not a suggestion anymore because you've used the wisdom. So that's what this is. And then the core reboot. This section represents reset and renewal. It's the place of integration where outdated patterns release and new understanding takes root. My screen keeps going black. Use it to anchor insights and new ways of thinking. The core reboot reminds you that every realization is a chance to begin again. We have restore defaults, delete cache, recode truth, reset intention, anchor upgrade, new configuration, power reclaim, and system alignment. Number 1, restore defaults. So what's being restored for you here? What's being restored for you? Okay. You're getting your Queen of Swords back. You're getting your alignment back. And you're getting belief in your own ability to ground and control your power back. So you are getting the external expression of your internal authority that's stemmed from rebelief in yourself. And the rebelief in yourself is your brain finally believing that it has proof that what you went through was for a reason because you're using the wisdom. So you use the wisdom and it gives your brain the proof. I know that we went through that for a reason now because I saw it. Now I'll release to you your self-expression coupled with authority. You'll feel more aligned with spiritual authority as it comes to self-expression. When you allow yourself to use the wisdom that you learned from a previous lesson, it completes the cycle. So that's how you use the mat. So let me bring this up bigger here. 1 second. All right. So I want to show you just a couple other ways. Okay, so I showed you 2 different ways of getting the cards for that, right? The first way was we shuffle as we go. The second was we shuffle once in the beginning, we leave the deck off to the side, and then we go through the mat and either use the die to choose the boxes, or we just go in order of the boxes and use the die to choose the lines. And then next card up. Okay, so either way, continue shuffle or use a pile. Now, for a lot of different readings with this, because this has been in practice format for a long time. So this is a strategy where I use multiple decks. And this is the reason that I have the 6-sided die, because I usually use 3 different decks when I do this, or 2. So either I'll do even, odd, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll use this die to select which one. Okay, so in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this case is 6. So this case, I would use this one. Okay, so at that point, now I can start in this box and then go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I have my deck. I'm going to choose with the 8-sided die which box. 3. So I'm in this box right here with this deck. Now what line? First line. So in order to remember what's going on, I always put the die right where they go. So first line, third box, I'm obviously right there. I'm with this deck. So I'm going to take this deck. I'm going to shuffle. So the false logic parental figure in reverse. False logic. So we're not going to do a reading here. I'm just going to show you. Okay, so false logic. So let's say I don't understand what that means, okay? So now I'm going to go back to my 6-sided die and I'm going to say, you know what? I want a little bit more info before moving forward. Or I can move forward and fill in the rest of the picture and then that'll make more sense. Or I can say, you know what? I want to understand that more. How many more cards? 6 more cards. So then, boom, I pull out 6 more cards. It gives me more info. I put that in a little pile here, and then I go to whatever is next. Either I go to the next box, or I roll and say 1. So I'm going to the next box anyway. Number 8. So 1, 8. So the code corrections. I didn't choose a deck. So code correction, 6. It's the same deck again. So I'd go here, code correction, false flag event in reverse. Okay, so you would just keep going in whatever format. You can obviously do the same thing with 2 decks. This would be my odd, this would be my even. So then when I roll this, I choose a deck and then I keep going. You can go in order. You can let the die choose, or if you want to know something specific, sit down and say, okay, I need to know the core signal and what's going on. Pull a card, core signal. You know what? I also want to know what the viral belief about this core signal is. Pull a card. So if you have more info about what you want to understand already, use that. Don't sit down and use the mat and be like, man, I hope I get false logic so I can figure that out. What's the false logic? Let me pull that card and then we roll die for all these around it so that, yeah, I'm getting what I want here. And then all of this is helping me unpack it. Does that make sense? I'm trying to think of all the ways that I'm using this so I can just tell you. I usually, when I'm doing true crime or something like that, I'll go through it twice. I'm telling you, I've tested this on a lot of videos that I haven't even posted because I just wanted to test to make sure the mat was giving me what I wanted it to be giving me. You know what I mean? So I usually will go through it twice. The first time I go through it will be like the underlying energy, the internal energy, the brain energy, right? And then the second time I go through, I'll leave all the first cards on there. I'll go through a second time and that will be what happened externally based off of the first round's internal. So break it up however you feel called. There's a million ways that it can be used. I mean, you can sit down before you even start, grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to write down 8 numbers. 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 8. Okay. And then you sit down, you're like, okay, 2, because you're not going to memorize that. You're going to be like, okay, 2. I chose number 2. 2's background noise. So if you want to just write down a set of 8 numbers and then sit down and see what that is, do it that way. However you feel called to do it is how it is meant to work. So yeah, this one's much different, obviously, than mat 1. Mat 1 is just the boxes and the spirals and the setup. It's still layered. It has the pillars, it has the connection, it has the guards, it has the labyrinth, all of that above, below. It has different factors, but this is more of like a, you know, when you download something in a zip file and then you click on it and it opens to all the files that are in there. This is like that. The zip file is the download you're given or the download that you're seeking. And then this is all the files that are inside. So they make up the zip file as a whole. So without any of these pieces, the zip file is not whole, but with all these pieces, you can understand the zip file in its entirety. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, this is mat 2, the observation mat. If you go to my stand.store/The Reckoning Co., you can look at the breakdown of all the guidebooks and everything. It's completely free. I set it up as a course so that I could continue to update it and you can continue to go back into it. If you lose your link, it's fine. Just go back in and click in again because it's free, so you can just re-access it. Again, it does not come with the die. I'm using this system because it's how I set up 2 of my decks to be used, the mediumship and the one investigation deck. So I'm using the similar theory that I've been using with that. It doesn't come with the die because I can't include anything with it on the listing. but I'm using an 8-sided die and then a 6-sided die as well, which you can get on Amazon very, very cheaply if you don't already have them. Thank you for watching.